hard drives. Choosing hard drives to back up your data can be kind of overwhelming. In this video today, we're going to be talking about choosing a hard drive to back up your data. There's a lot of different hard drives on the market, a lot of different brands. So I'm going to kind of break it down, some of the options that are on the market to make it a little bit easier to purchase a hard drive, and that way you're a little bit more informed. And I'm also going to go over some of the practices I use to back up my data. So a couple reasons why I'm making this video. I've been wanting to for a while, just because, you know, storing your data is really important. March 31st actually marked World Backup Day or International Backup Day, which I don't think many people recognized. I actually saw it on LaCie Tech's Instagram. They posted I think they had a giveaway going on for that date. So that's where I ended up seeing it. And reason number two being that I've had some people in the workplace working in IT where they've had hard drives fail on them lately, and it's either their backup or the only place they have certain things stored on. So it's definitely can be a tough situation. So it's always good to have, you know, the secure backup or multiple backups. I think a lot of people underestimate that they might need a backup for their backup, and even a backup for their backup for their backup, and so on. As much redundancy as you can possibly get that's secure is always better. So as you guys can see, and as you saw in the intro, I have quite a few different hard drives here, kind of an assortment I have on hand. But I'm going to kind of go through the different types of hard drives that you can get for backing up your data. I'm also going to go over the practices I use to back up my data, along with which hard drives I use for which situations. And like I mentioned, guys, backing up your data is super important, especially when it comes to any valued documents, photos, videos, whatever it might be. It's always really important to back up that data and have it in multiple spots, so you do have one hard drive failure, you have a copy of all that data on another hard drive. Now, some of the people that I've had conversations with lately, the people in particular that I mentioned earlier that have had hard drive failures recently, really it was kind of foreign to them to have a backup of their backup, and almost crazy to them. And really, guys, it's not crazy at all to have multiple backups, you know, of the same data. Like I said, the more redundant, as long as it's secure, the better. And in their situation, they actually had videos, you know, work-related videos stored on one hard drive, and that hard drive happened to fail. So now they no longer have that data. They'll have to go through maybe some kind of data recovery software, or, you know, a company that specializes in recovering data. It can be a real mess, so it's best to back up your data in multiple locations. And it's actually a three-step process that many go by, where you have data on one drive backed up onto another on one particular site, so that's your location, and then a third backup that's off-site in case of, God forbid, a fire or anything, maybe any kind of disaster that would destroy the hard drives in one location. You have all that data on another hard drive in a separate location. That's the three-step system that a lot of professionals go by. Unfortunately, right now I don't have an off-site backup, and you can also use cloud storage for that as well. So anything like Dropbox, and of course sometimes that can get a little bit more expensive, but that could be your third off-site backup. So now that we got that out of the way, let's actually talk about some of the physical hard drives themselves. We got, like I said, we got quite an assortment here, and some of these too, which I'm not going to get into internal drives too much in this video, but I do have some here, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. And I do want to talk about best practices for setting up your hard drives in your computer in a later video, so we'll talk about that too. But so first things first, we're going to just talk about the basic external USB hard drives, which are these two right here. These are both Western Digital. This is Western Digital My Book. This is a G Technology drive, which is actually a sub company of Western Digital. So that's the brand. This is an 8 terabyte external drive. This is a 4. So there's a lot of different variations out there of different external hard drives, but the basics of these are typically they do require some kind of 12 volt power or some type of power. These happen to be 12 volt, and they come with like a little power brick that you can plug into the back. And then usually they're USB 3.0 This does have USB Type-C, and the main difference between these two is you're going to get a little bit faster read and write speeds with the G Technology drive, especially utilizing the USB Type-C. But that's going to be the main difference when you're shopping for these, is capacity and then also your read and write speeds. Inside of these, most of them are mechanical hard drives, or maybe like a hybrid drive sometimes, but for the most part, you're just going to have a standard mechanical drive on the inside. So they're not lightning fast, but they do get the job done. I recommend these for mass storage. You know, if you're storing videos, photos that you don't need to edit, that you just have as a backup, that's always a good way to go. And of course, documents and stuff like that too, you can store on these as well. So in the way I actually use these two personally, I have this G Technology 4TB as my media drive. So I basically just use it for photos and videos. So all my YouTube videos get stored on there. All my Instagram photos and other photos get stored on here as well. I don't edit any video footage directly off this drive, and that's because it's a mechanical drive. You can edit off them, but you won't get as good a performance opposed to if you have it stored on an SSD or your internal hard drive on your computer. So this is for, like I said, bulk storage of, you know, previous videos and photos that I've worked on. And I always go back on this drive, and if I need to grab a clip from a certain video project, I can go in there, grab it, and bring it over to my computer's hard drive, and then put it into my new project. And basically, this is a backup of this drive. But I also have quite a bit more storage on this one. I have double, so this is an 8TB. So on this drive, I actually have other backups of my computers on this one. So whenever I back up a system, including the operating system, I'll have that backup on here as well. And then, like I said, it's a complete manually cloned hard drive of this G Technology. So anything I have on here is going to be right here in the same file format too. So if you look into like NAS, network attached storage systems, or stuff like that, you'll hear different RAID levels. This is basically a RAID 1, but manually done by me. So like I mentioned, how the file structure is organized on this hard drive is exactly the same on this one, which can be kind of a pain because I gotta stay consistent. I gotta make sure that whatever gets dropped onto this drive also gets dropped onto this drive, and really keep up with it and maintain it. Now, opposed to manually doing it like me, if you do have a RAID system, it automatically does that process for you. So whatever you put on one hard drive, it'll automatically get cloned onto another hard drive. Now, I'm sure when a lot of you guys started watching this video and you saw some of the other external USB drives, you're probably like, Jake, well, those are also external USB drives. They are, but I consider these to be portable USB external hard drives, opposed to these where they're portable in a sense where you could put them in a backpack and carry them around. You do need some sort of power. Now with portable external hard drives, like this rugged drive from G Technology or this Easy Store from Western Digital, it's actually just USB. So you plug it straight into the computer and you can use it as backup storage or just drop any sort of files you want onto them. So that's the way I kind of differ these two, is you don't need power for these. They're much more portable, opposed to these where you have a lot more storage, but in many cases you need some type of power to connect to them, which makes them much less portable. Hopefully that made sense. So these portable external USB hard drives are a great option on the go. Like I said, they're small as far as the form factor goes, and I use this one basically on a daily basis. So I mean, I have programming projects on there, really a whole mix. If I'm transferring somebody's data onto a new computer, I use this one at work for doing stuff like that. So quite a mix of things. You can use this as your backup storage. You're just getting started out and you don't have a whole lot of stuff to back up. You can use a more portable drive like this, and that's not an issue at all. Yeah, because even a drive this size, this is a 1 terabyte. They do make this one up to a 4 terabyte, which is a little bit thicker, but still same general size. So you can definitely get much more storage in these and then still not have it take up a whole lot of room or need power. So your portable external drives are, when it comes to buying them, there are a lot of different options once again. So when choosing one, it's basically going to come down to how much storage you need. Choosing ones too that, you know, have the right read and write speed that you're looking for, and making sure you get a hard drive that is going to suit your needs as far as performance goes. Most of them, I shouldn't say most of them, but a lot of hard drives that are kind of budget friendly are going to be like a mechanical or hybrid drive like these two. I definitely recommend, if you guys are looking to get a drive like these, I would try to get a rugged drive like this G Technology one. They're just super tough, so if you are on the go all the time and you don't have to worry about dropping or roughing this one up as much, because they are super tough. It's got a rubber case and then an aluminum case inside the rubber there, opposed to something like this where it's just got a plastic outside. So I mean, if this one takes a fall or two, it will beat it up pretty good, and you never know, you could lose your data on one of those falls or the drive could break. So I definitely recommend the rugged drives, especially too because they're not much more expensive usually. Now, there's one thing I don't recommend these types of external drives for, because like I said, they are mechanical and some are hybrid. But if you're looking to edit videos straight off a portable external hard drive, I definitely recommend going with an SSD of some sort. And they make them in the same form factors as these as far as size. If you're a video creator that's on the go and does a lot of editing on the go, I definitely recommend going the SSD route if you're not going to be dropping that footage onto a laptop or something and you want to edit straight off of the hard drive. The SSD route is going to be a much better option just because of those read and write speeds. Being a solid state drive, it's just naturally much faster. Editing is going to be much smoother. Although SSDs are the way to go as far as performance goes and reliability, they do have a major downfall compared to their optical drive counterpart. That downfall being the overall cost compared to mechanical hard drives. SSDs come in at a much higher price. If you were to pick two hard drives from a company, one being an SSD and one being just a standard USB external hard drive, both hard drives having the same capacity, you can count on the SSD being at least double the cost. Taking a look at some of the G Technology's hard drive to put my example to the test, if you take a look right here, we have one of their portable SSDs, and for 1 terabyte it comes in right at $179.95. And if I scroll down to one of the rugged drives like I personally own, you can get a 4 terabyte model and still come in $40 less than the SSD model. Summing up solid state external hard drives versus regular mechanical external hard drives, I would say it really comes down to what you need. If you need high speeds for editing right off the drive, I would definitely recommend going with a SSD with a lower capacity. Compared to if you're looking for something for mass storage, I definitely recommend going the mechanical drive route, just because the extra speed really isn't needed for mass storage and you can get much more storage for your money. And last but not least guys, as you saw from the beginning of this video, I had some internal hard drives from other PCs that I've built, and you can actually use internal hard drives from PCs as external hard drives. Typically any internal hard drive that isn't an M.2 form factor hard drive, so any 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch hard drive, will have a SATA power connection and a SATA data connection. There are actually low cost SATA adapters on the market that can convert the SATA connection to a USB connection. Now you might ask, what exactly are the benefits of taking an internal hard drive and using it as an external hard drive? Well, if you happen to have some older hard drives laying around that aren't in use anymore, instead of buying a whole new hard drive, you could actually just buy the adapter for a fraction of the price and end up using that hard drive that's just sitting around to back up your data or for whatever use case you might need it for. And if you use the adapter on an internal 2.5 inch SSD, you'll probably see a slight increase in performance compared to a mechanical hard drive. Now you won't see quite the performance that you would see out of a external USB solid state drive that you would purchase, just because of the fact that those drives are designed to run natively with USB, as the internal drives are not. Alrighty everyone, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you got some really good takeaways on choosing an external hard drive and best practices for backing up your data. And one final tip for backing up your data and working with external hard drives. I definitely recommend formatting your hard drives with Exfat or FAT32. This will allow your hard drive to be compatible with both Windows and Mac. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to see more tech related videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.